John Douglas, a former FBI special agent and criminal profiler, said that a serial killer is the human manifestation of evil in its most pure form. This reflects the chilling nature of serial killers as seen through the lens of a criminal psychologist. This is an 8-week special. Don't miss it on All Access Network Television. The opinion expressed here do not necessarily reflect the views of the network production company. Viewer discretion is advised. This program contains violent content which may be too intense for some viewers and listeners. Viewer-listener discretion is advised. This week on Serial Killers, Supernatural and Murderers. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
What's up? You got all of us.
Yeah.
So we did John Wayne Gacy last time, and this is tonight. We are going to compare and contrast H.H. Holmes and Douglas Perry, a.k.a. Donna Perry. That's a very weird, bizarre situation.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about it tonight.
Well, one thing
thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching. Everybody go tell everybody. We're going to talk about some weird stuff again tonight.
Yeah. Well, guys, I want to start
supernatural side.
Yeah. Blaine, Blaine, please say hello to this dog.
Please. She's
Hello,
on the
Luna.
other show looking for you.
Every show
Hello,
has
Luna.
been Uncle Blaine.
Oh my
There
goodness.
he is. Do
Hey,
you
guys,
see
I
him?
gotta throw a shout out to my
Please.
new friend Luke, who is the manager for French Quarter Phantoms and Ghost Tours. It is one of the best rated ghost tours in the world. I sent him a video.
I'm gonna play it.
Okay, I was
I
making
didn't
sure
see
you
it
got
till
it.
my other show had already started.
I sent it to you way before it didn't ever.
We were in the road.
We're in the road. We got a special announcement tonight.
Yeah.
But I got a couple of things I want to bring up about being in New Orleans this weekend.
Go ahead, darling, please.
One of the things that I did is I walked down where the terrorist attack happened, and I crossed all 14 souls because they were still screaming and crying and still lingering, and I crossed all 14 of them.
Gosh.
I had to. I was being told, screamed at, you will go help those people. And Jana Wall crossed all 14 at the same time for me.
She's quite a woman.
Oh, she was awesome. And I got to spend, I got to go on the ghost tour with my daughter and my granddaughter.
Yes.
And I'll tell you a fun place we went. We went to Bloody Mary's voodoo shop. That place is unreal. And they have a haunted museum in the back of it and upstairs.
Nice.
We went through, and there was so much goofy energy in that place. It was amazing. Because they had offerings for different things there, and people would put money or they put cigarettes or whatever they wanted to offer.
Yeah.
And we got upstairs, and there was this big ass female mannequin, all in black lace with the cover over her face. My granddaughter Penny walked up there, looked, and went, "Nope." She said, "Papa Blaine, I don't like her energy." I was like, "Would you like me to block her energy for you?" She said, "Would you please?" So I pretty much bound her to that mannequin where she can't do anybody else any harm. But yes, Penny was picked up on that quick. I saw her when I first walked in. Now, there was a freaking clown doll upstairs.
No.
I saw it and I was like, no.
Well,
no.
Okay, as usual with me, this fricker had a pedophile attached to it.
Honey.
Why does it mean clowns and freaking pedophiles?
It's always you. It's
Yes.
always you.
What was it, Pogo or Patches?
No. This one was worse than both.
Yeah.
That's saying a lot.
And well, to make a long story short, he started talking about, I'm gonna get her. And like, I looked at him and said, "No, you're not." I saw my daughter and my granddaughter, and I said, "Let me tell you something. You say one more word, it'll be the last words you ever say." And then I got a big FU from him. I was like, all right, Bear and Wolf now. I sit back and I made Penny take a picture of it where Janawa, Bear and Wolf are beating the living dog shit out of this pedophile.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was amazing. I wish people could have seen what I saw. I mean, they were ripping him a new one, left, right, center, up, down, backwards, and forwards. It's like none of this bullshit's gonna go on.
I would have been drumming the whole time.
Dude, I was like just laughing, going, "Told you, smart ass."
Yeah.
Yeah, he just thought he wasn't gonna. They always think there's never a payday.
No.
You know, never
Oh.
a payday for what they do.
No, and the funny thing about it, I told Bear and Wolf to have as much fun with him as long as they wanted to, and keep coming back and having fun with him later too.
Yeah.
Which was fun. But yeah, we had a great time. New Orleans, and I had to say that was probably the safest city in America this weekend because there were more city police officers, county sheriffs,
Yeah.
state cops, the Louisiana Bureau of Investigation, Homeland Security was there, FBI was there, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms were there, and it was just it was typical New Orleans, you know, street performers everywhere. And I tell you what, I was disappointed in Marie Laveau's shop. They have
Really?
turned that. It used to be an actual voodoo shop. Now they've turned it into, you know, Tourist Central. There's you can't go in there and buy like potions and stuff like that anymore. Now Bloody Marys, you could buy all of that, and I told the lady that was running, I said, "Yeah, I'm a friend of Jeremy Leonard's, a good friend of Mary's. I have one of her dolls." And she goes, "No way." I said, "I sure do. I almost put it. If I can remember where I put it, I've got one of Bloody Mary's voodoo dolls." And we had such a blast there. We had some good food. And if you go to go see my buddy Luke over there at French Quarter Phantoms Tours, those tours, when you buy, he does several different tours. He does an adults only where they do the ghosts and vampires. They do one that's all ages, which we went on since I had Penny with me. We had a little boy about 8 or 9 years old, and he was curious about everything.
I'm sure he was.
And when I told you'll laugh at this, we were just sitting there right before Luke got up and told the story of this location we were at. If y'all watch Saturday, I filmed a lot of it. He would not let me film the whole thing because he did think people would come back to his store. I said, "Look, I gave them teasers. We're just enough to get them hooked when they come back and see you again. So if you're ever down there, go see him. And if you do buy a ticket, they'll give you a wristband, and you go to the bar, which is called the Voodoo Lounge, right next door. They will give
That sounds like where I need to be.
oh, you're gonna love the Voodoo Lounge. It was badass.
Yeah.
They will give you a buy one hurricane, get one free. And I tell you what, the lady that made ours, magnifique. It was beautiful. It was the best hurricane I've had. My mom's from New Orleans. I've been there more times than I can count. Hers was good. She did it right. It was perfect. And
I gotta say, if I get one, I really probably won't need two.
no, you can buy one.
Not me.
Not me
No.
either.
No, you buy one and give it to me.
That's it. That's how that'll go. Yes.
Or Gwen buys one and gives one to me, and you give yours to Matt.
Me and
Or
Gwen
you-
will share one and get.
That's it. That's it.
I got-
Because cheeks turn
Bring it
red,
on.
I'm done. Yeah.
I got to tell you one more funny thing. All right, the Laurie House, which we need to do a show on. If you don't know the story about that, look it up because we will have a show on it.
Yeah.
Well, do you know Nicolas Cage owns the house now?
Really?
Wait, this gets more fun. The first 3 days, his family, his wife and kids were there. They complained about people running up down the stairs. They complained about chains. They complained about screams in the night. Now, this is the funny part of the story. You know, he got arrested on Bourbon Street for being drunk and disorderly. How in the hell do you get drunk and disorderly? Everybody's drunk and disorderly. And
You have to
I'm
be
like,
out of your mind.
I don't know what the hell he did. We couldn't figure it out. It's like, did he slap a cop or something? Because I've seen people down there get arrested for stealing, for fighting, but never for drunk and disorderly, ever in 59 years of life. But yeah, sure enough, arrested for drunk and disorderly in New Orleans. Only man ever in history to be arrested for drunk and disorderly.
Got a valid point there.
I mean, I've seen enough drunks Saturday night. It wasn't even funny. And it was even funnier Sunday morning. I let the girls sleep in a little bit. I just wanted to go. I just love being in the quarter anyway because all the history and the ghosts there. And I was people watching in the morning. And you could tell the ones that stayed out the bars all night because they're still stumbling, bumbling down the street. Closed, disheveled. It was hilarious. Well, let's get into H.H. Holmes. I figured I'd give you a little preview. And the
Yeah, we
video
needed
of
that.
the video of the tour is still on my Facebook page.
Yep.
Please go back and watch them. And if you go down there, go see Luke and tell him Blaine sent you and that he's a friend of Family Spirit. Okay?
Very cool. I'm so jealous. I wish I could have gone with you.
We need to go. All of us need to go to New Orleans.
That would be cool. But I'm glad you got to spend time with your family.
Me too.
Oh, that was the best.
That
I
made
know
me
it's-
very happy.
It was funny. My daughter and granddaughter both have brown hair like Daddy now. So
I saw that.
wasn't that cute?
That's so
Mhm.
sweet.
Oh, well, I got to tell two more things before we go. Okay, I got hit on by a gay dude.
Uh-oh.
Wait a minute, it gets better. I got hit on by a lesbian. Said I would turn straight for you. And I had several women want to touch my hair.
Of course. I like
Aw.
touching your hair. Sorry, Jennifer. No offense.
No, I just thought it was hilarious. I was like, I'm getting hit on by everybody.
It's great.
Well, let's get into H.H. Holmes, guys. I appreciate it. Let me just speak because that was so fun.
Oh,
We all-
yeah, I'm
we gotta
sure.
do
And I'm
that.
glad you had time with your family.
Oh
and
yeah, man.
yourself. Let's see. I think we finally got some folks coming because sometimes it takes a
Right
minute
on.
for everybody to load. Hi,
Hi,
Kate.
y'all.
Hey, Chris. Hey,
Hi, Chris.
hey, Richard. Hey, Richard. Richard. All right. So we are talking
Every time I
about
do so.
H.H. Holmes and about Donna or Douglas Perry. Okay. Both of them have some little things up their sleeve. And so here's the show. And here we go. Who wants to kick off about Mr. H.H. Holmes?
You want to, or I do it?
I
Well,
definitely don't. Mhm.
Well, Blaine is these last few weeks he hasn't been able to talk, so let's let him
can't
go.
talk, so-
Let it rip, my brother.
Okay. This dude is actually last name was Mudgett. He changed his name. He was an actual doctor. He did go to medical school. He was not only a murderer, but he was a flim flam artist. He would take people and get them insurance policies and cash in on them when he killed them. Made himself the beneficiary of it. Well, when the World's Fair came to Chicago, he had built this big ass hotel and had it made into basically a torture chamber. He had secret doors, secret walls, secret rooms in there. He had one room that was a gas chamber, and he had it where there were chutes that went down to the basement where he would take the bodies and he would pretty much cremate them after he killed them and took all their money. Well, he had several businesses as well where he killed his partners after he got insurance on them and then killed them. But he was very proficient at killing females. And he was using this like as a hotel during the World's Fair. So he had hundreds of people come through his hotel every night. And somehow they'd all end up dead. But Thomas, I'm going to turn it over to you because you know as much as I do about this.
Well, you know, I'm going to go back a little bit. H.H. Holmes, yeah, he had a medical degree and all that. And at the time, you know, to get bodies to work on, you know, H.H. Holmes with some of his medical profession, they would rob graves and
Yeah.
get these bodies and all that. And H.H. Holmes would make up names and take out insurance policies on these dead bodies and then show that they were dead. That was his, when he was young, when he first got that idea of, okay, I need to make some money. This is what I'm going to do. So he did have the skill as a medical, but I think a lot of his psychosis was gaining money. It was almost like when we talked a few weeks ago about Pam Hupp. She always felt like she had to have money, so she had all these scams, and then the next thing you know, you're killing and you keep killing, and it just gets out of hand. And I really think that's part of H.H. Holmes. You know, he grew up in the New England area.
Yep, he did.
A lot of the kids, him growing up, he was very smart, and so young kids, when you're smart, they start, you know, beating up on you or whatever. They locked him in a closet and made him face a skeleton for a few hours. That scared him to the point, you know, but he had an alcoholic father, you know, and so a lot of the same things, you know, with a lot of these serial killers is that lack of, you know, empathy from his parents and the bullying and those things that he goes through just for being an intelligent kid. So, and that's kind of what that side of it as we dive into this onion to peel back with H.H. Holmes and especially with Donna Douglas Perry too. Just two very weird cases and all that. Two different time periods. So
we're just gonna call her Donnie Doug.
Hey, Pam, thank you for joining us.
Yep.
Hey, let's just call her Donnie Doug.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll call it Dee Dee.
Yeah, Dee Dee, that's Dee Dee.
Dee Dee Perry.
That's it.
Look at H.H. Holmes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
There's some artifacts in the Michigan Museum of H.H. Holmes. Thank you for that, Pam.
And they're like one of his medical bags and some of his equipment. And I don't know if it was still there or not. One time he had like an embryo in a glass jar. Yeah, no.
So
no, thank you.
And I know we got a lot of people that are watching and all that. Just so you know, back in that time, there was a lot of yellow journalism. So if anybody understands yellow, just like the National Enquirer and all that. So they would blow up things more than they actually were, to the point where it was done so much that as we look at it, we think, okay, that's what it was. But his hotel wasn't that big. It was 3 stories. The first story was all shops. The second story was rooms. The third story wasn't even done yet because he kept running out of money and having to do more things. And he wouldn't pay the people to finish, with the things. And there was like secret rooms, but a lot of those secret rooms, he would hide furniture that he ripped off and didn't pay for yet. And he would hide them in there. So when they come to get it and repo it, they wouldn't know where it was. So there's a lot of, I know a lot of people say, he killed people in this hotel. No, there was no evidence actually of it. A lot of the yellow journalism said that because of at the time.
Right.
I know, you could go either way. We don't know 100% for sure. Part of what was real, what was yellow journalism and all that. And the thing is, even with H.H. Holmes would lie about people he killed and they're alive somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So even the things that he talked about, they didn't find evidence of. So, and
he wanted to be the world's biggest, best. He wanted to be, the one. He wanted to be the baddest. I don't know how else to describe that. But
well,
he was going to be bad. He was going to be
bad. You want to say, hey, I did more than what you think.
Yeah. Well, one of the things he did too, he's like, he would pay people to go away somewhere else. Yeah. And him being a doctor, he could write a death certificate and had a policy on the person. He cashed some of the policy because he wrote the death certificate. Like Thomas said, the guy might be in St. Louis or Utah. Who knows where the guy went to? But he got his little bit of money. He left. But according to the records, that dude's dead.
Yeah. So I was doing a little bit of research on Holmes, and here's my slide. He was convicted for one murder. That was his business associate, Benjamin, I can't say that, Peitzel, though he confessed to several others. At least 9 murders have been reasonably linked to him through evidence. And after his arrest, he confessed to killing 27 people. However, many of the individuals he claimed to have killed were later found alive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But of course, some sensationalized accounts have, and of course, Tom just talked about that. But it is, there's been some speculation, but yet some summary of like 200 victims. Okay. And that's largely based on the assumption that his murder castle was a death trap for hotel guests. And, people went missing. So, by process of elimination, there we are. However, this number lacks concrete evidence and is likely exaggerated. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, we don't have the forensics like today that they had back then. So what they had back then, when they never were able to see or have any evidence that he actually killed anybody in his hotel.
Right.
But who knows? He could have. It's just, that we don't, like, if we had what we had now back then they probably would have found something, know. And
so now, of course, you and Blaine know more about this part than me. I've done some study, but it just didn't stay in the old noodle about H.H. Holmes. But besides the fact that his number of murder victims have been stretched and exaggerated, also on television, the type of woman that he chose to murder his victims were seen as, lovely ladies of London and of the aristocratic, and they weren't. They were folks, barely on their feet, drunk, tumbling over, right? They were homeless, more than homeless. They were destitute and diseased. Am I right?
You're talking about H.H. Holmes. Okay. Well,
yes.
This is one of the
I'm not really sure.
She's true on some of that fact. This is what I think is funny, though. He actually had another family with a wife and kids in another town that he just paid for them to live. He'd come home once a week to see them. Then he'd go back to his hotel and pick up, like you said, the trudge of this society. And
like Gary Ridgway, he had the normal family life, and then he was the, the sleazeball murderous.
Green River Killer. Yeah.
Yep.
So that is correct.
That was amazing
about these ladies. All right.
Yeah.
So these are the ladies that.
Let
me show you these, because how similar. Now, we're judging these pictures, and that's not the right thing to do. But if I tell you the history of these women, and these are actually much nicer looking and in a better situation than H.H. Holmes folks, but they were street workers. And all 3 of them, see, he crossed racial lines and age lines. The lady on the far left, I can't remember their names at this second, but Brisboe is her last name. She's 38 years old, and she's a grandma. And she fought for her life. You hear me? She fought. And she had so much DNA evidence on her that 21 years later, they were able to nail the person.
Yeah.
Wow.
Once the science caught up with it. So if it hadn't been for her, none of this, this Donna Douglas person nearly got away with this. And now that Donna Douglas or whatever, Perry, I think we could go ahead and say Donna, because surgeries have been done that cannot be undone. So, we could go ahead and say Donna, because the sex change is complete. And she is in a female prison. So, yeah. But these ladies were, they were killed in the same manner. And you know how you guys have been talking about the MO of certain killers. So there's a few changes, but not many. All right. So H.H. Holmes was during the 19th century, the 1890s. Okay. The primary location was Chicago, Illinois, although he did travel. And he was a con artist and serial killer, and he built the murder castle, and he targeted people that he could manipulate for financial gain, including tenants, employees, and guests at the hotel. and victims were often women who trusted him or were lured in by job offers or romantic promises. Okay. Same with Donna. When she was
when you were talking, there was a small female voice that came through.
I've been hearing something like that quite a while today.
It was almost humming. Like,
I've been hearing something, but with me on cold medicine,
it was clear as hell when she was speaking. That's why I let her speak. But I was listening. That little girl's talking.
Let's keep listening. Yeah. Everybody that's watching.
Yeah.
Please, if you hear something, put it in the comments, please.
Yes, please.
I got to tell y'all one more thing about New Orleans real quick before we go on. All right. He was telling us a story about a 14-year-old girl that managed to escape two brothers and walk down the street to the police department. Well, as he was telling the story, this one made me laugh. Okay. Little girl about 12, 13 years old walked across the street in front of her mom and dad. And there was about 5 females to the right of me. And they all gasped like, little girl. I was like, oh no. I was like, that's a real one. That's not a ghost. That's a real one. Holy crap. They about shit themselves because they thought that little girl was walking across the street.
Oh, Lord. Oh, my God.
I think I got that on camera, but I'm not sure.
You got to send me that. I got to see that.
That'll be funny.
I got to go back.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pam. Pam said she did hear something, and Pat says we're doing a great job. So I appreciate it, Pat.
Well, could I say one more? Go ahead. Let's go put your methods on.
Okay. All right. So H.H. Holmes used deception, poison, suffocation, and other means. So he was all over the place. But he dismembered the victims and sold their skeletons to medical schools, showcasing basically had a cold, calculated outlook. And he saw his victims as a mean to an end for financial or personal gain. Mm-hmm. And he lacked empathy and viewed his crimes as a form of business. Also, though, I actually wrote a letter. I had a dream. Well, it wasn't a dream. I channeled H.H. Holmes by accident after I had H.H. What was his name? Jeff Mudgett on the show.
Yeah, I remember.
And I read it to Tom. This was before we started All Access Network. It was just me. I was just doing StreamYard and all of that. It was before you started doing the shows with me. And one of the things that was said in the letter, it's H.H. Holmes felt like women of the night didn't respect the fact that they were child bearers and they could bring life. And this was what he felt they deserved. He wanted to not just kill them and dismember them, but he also wanted to study them. He wanted to study them alive because so much had been done with corpses. He needed to experiment with adrenal glands and adrenaline and things like, there's just things that had to be done in his mind. So it was a means to an end. And that is the similarity we have here with Donna Perry. All right. So Perry shot her victims and their bodies were discarded in areas where they may not be found immediately. Donna did keep a lot of their belongings, oftentimes at first tossing the clothes, and they're found posed in bad, embarrassing poses. But he didn't have a lot of elaborate planning or staging like H.H. Holmes. However, he did keep certain things, not just as a trophy. He had true disdain and a deep-seated hatred or resentment. He believed that him being of the male persona was a mistake, and he wanted to be able to give life. And he said that they had a gift that was given to them, and they mocked God. And so his point was, this is what they had come into them, and he was working on his own plan. And the guy that made the suit, the lady suit,
Ed Gein.
Ed Gein, yes. So in that way, he wanted he looked into women and looked up to women's abilities and talked about the lady suit in that he was keeping their clothes and doing the same thing. Okay. And that is something that just came out. I'm actually in discussion with one of the detectives that is now since retired from the case, and he should be coming on the show coming up soon. So we might be able to revisit this. So we'll have to earmark this show so that we could go back and bring it up. But if you find FilmRise, and I'll pull that up in just a second, you'll see FilmRise did a big documentary on this case. And he's one of the people involved from the case that is interviewed. So they both have lack of empathy. They target the vulnerable, and they are manipulative. Perry exploited the vulnerability of sex workers, and H.H. Holmes used charm and cunning, also picking the same type of victim. All right. And then they stuck with their methodology where Holmes made his privacy in the murder castle, though. Perry's approach was very straightforward, involving shootings. He would, it got so bad in the industry during that time in Spokane, Washington, that sex workers would not leave with anyone. They would say, okay, let's go around here to this, corner or behind this back alley or something. And because they felt like they were so targeted and they were so terrified.
Well, Lee, that's where the problem was with when he was Douglas and all that. He frequented this area where the prostitutes were. The prostitutes all knew him. They were comfortable with him.
Yeah.
So they never thought twice about him being that type of person. He was friendly with a lot of them. They knew who he was. So that breaks down that barrier, especially at that time. There was a lot of serial killers that were blamed for Perry's crimes because they were operating around the same time there in Washington.
Well, he was cunning enough, Donna Perry was cunning enough to realize that he felt his violent tendencies were coming from Douglas, from testosterone. And as he went to, when he got so deep and had 3 victims, okay, he decided, wait a minute, I need to get out of here. They're about to catch me. So he went straight, and here's the ladies that we know of that he targeted and murdered. All right. However, this is when it all started here in 1990. And they discovered the lady on the left first. Okay. And she's the reason why we were able to catch him. And this is what he looked like when he was arrested.
What a freak.
Yeah, just really, wow. Let me show you what Douglas looked like during the time of these. His point was, I'm not the same person anymore. I don't have the same tendencies because I've gone through estrogen therapy and I am no longer male. It's been removed. So I can't rape anyone anymore. I am female. I have beaten this. And so the finale was July the 24th, 2017. Donna Perry is given 3 life sentences without the possibility of parole. And also when the defense said, hey, you got to kick this out because Donna's not Douglas anymore. Donna barely remembers what Douglas did. Is Donna responsible for what Douglas did?
Yes.
And the answer is, you do a crime, you pay the price, And so, yeah, that's how that went. And at the very end of it all is when it all came rolling out. He said the same thing, the very same thing that I said, H.H. Holmes said, that these women were making a mockery of their ability to give life, that what he had for them, that, they're going to be memorialized forever as his victim, and it was better than what they were planning with their lives. And, that's just not right. That's just not true. Mm-hmm. And, but anyway, I just found it very interesting that these 2 people said basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And let's see if I can find.
1 second. You want to hear something very ironic?
Did y'all hear that?
Yes, that was another female.
Okay.
Okay, this is ironic. H. Holmes did go to London for a while. And it is funny, as soon as he left, all the Jack the Ripper killings stopped.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, that's a lot of coinky dink there. Not saying he was Jack the Ripper, but very possibly he could have been.
Mm-hmm. Let me show you this.
I think it's the MO. The MO is the one that keeps me from thinking it was. Because his psychosis was to kill people for money. And over there, it just seemed like something totally different.
Just killing people, huh?
Yeah. Well, maybe he was getting his act together, then he evolved from it.
Evolve, yeah.
Well, no, when he went over there, he had already killed people. So, yeah,
now
so it wasn't anything new.
Speaking of evolving, okay, so we have people being killed. Okay, first we're robbing graves and taking apart skeletons and selling stuff. And then we evolved to the murder castle. Okay. And then, oops, we're caught. He even had like Blaine said, he had a normal life. Okay. Well, here's how Donna Perry evolved. Meet Douglas and Donna.
God.
Yep.
I'm sorry, that thing is fugly.
Well, that's what the detective said too.
I'm sorry, that is dumb fug. That is double fugly. Good God.
I thought that was you.
Oh my God.
I thought that was we were smelling perfume.
That's what I was like.
And
smell it?
That's Kathy.
I don't know if it's Kathy or not. She smells like smoke.
Well, what I'm smelling right now is passion.
Okay.
That's what she wore.
Yeah, and that's what she wore.
She thought it was me, and I was lavender. Remember, only lavender.
I know, but I'm thinking, well, she done changed it up. I don't know. But yeah, we're smelling something here. All right. Anyway,
it's your house. What do you expect? Okay.
Show that thing again, because I think you can make gorilla cookies with that damn thing. Look at that. That is getting tripod.
In one of the interviews with Donna, they say the truth is you were just jealous of them because you could never be as Douglas as Donna. You could never be as attractive as your victim. I mean, look how pretty these young ladies are. They are very attractive.
Okay, there ain't enough makeup in the world to make that thing.
It gets worse. You ought to see the pajama clown bottoms that please don't let me go down that road. I'm just going to stop right there.
I can feel her spinning.
Woo! Yeah, everything was going wrong with me in that sentence. But so.
Oh, Lord.
I got to do it again, y'all.
One more time.
Blaine, look, Blaine.
That's a face that a mother couldn't even love. Good God.
Well, actually,
his mother. I think Blaine threw up a little in his mouth.
There you go.
So his mother did say,
God, chick, it don't matter. Who would want that nasty thing?
Well, it took quite a while for because obviously the police were looking for a man.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then 21 years later, they arrest a woman.
So he was already transitioned then.
No, it took 21 years.
He was transitioned before he got caught. No, I asked if he was transitioned before he got caught.
He left. He was in jail. One of the people he picked up turned him in because he took her to his house and she saw all his weapons.
Oh, shit.
Donna had tons and tons of weapons. Was always fascinated with guns even growing up because
had them all.
The father abused him, but his father passed when really early, and his mom had schizophrenia. So that's when she left. Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay,
Jane from the previous show is saying, repent, Blaine, repent.
No, let me tell them this. Okay, Angela and Shane, I can't go to hell because I'm I have a restraining order against me in hell because I will take it.
Pam is saying Thomas is not saying a thing.
He's snorting.
He's still trying to get that picture out of his head.
Red.
He's trying to get both those pictures out of his head. It's like, real ugly dude, real ugly woman. Dig. There's no in between. That's like the ugliest person I've ever seen in my life. And that's seeing, Keith Richards. Keith Richards is dog ugly. But that dude, that thing.
Wait a minute. I got to let you guys hear one of the interviews. I've just got to.
Please do.
Hold on. I hope this will work because Gwen tried to share screens last show and it did not want to do.
Not work.
Oh, no, that's not right. Okay, now she's okay. All right, here we go. Let's see if I'm going to cross my fingers.
Cross your fingers.
Okay. Oh, Lord, use that pic to scare off trespassers.
Boy.
Guys, y'all so well. No, you're not. You're telling
truth is not a lie. It's not a lie.
Truth is not a lie. Oh, God. Here we go. Can y'all see this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try to unmute it. Hopefully you'll hear it. Here we go.
Doug Perry mad, and then he finds somebody to take it out on. And the first people he's going to look at are the people that maybe he thinks are standing in the way.
The only person I really wanted to have girlfriends. The reason I was down, I was dishing her out of there when all this other was going down. I would have an old 68 Scout. And I would go down there and wait. And then I literally would manhandle her, put her in the truck and drive off, get her out of there.
Claire Ann was a drug user, and his whole goal was to get her out of that life. So they could have a white picket fence right off into the sunset. He and his wife, the only girl that he ever loved, if he could get her away from this.
Claire Ann used to be on the street for 2 or 3 days at a time. She disappeared. Figured she wanted to leave, free to go. I did cry about it a lot when she left.
Did you love her?
Yes.
How many times would you say you dated a prostitute other than Claire Ann?
Not very many, a couple, 2 or 3 times. Maybe I didn't have the money. Social Security at that time was only just a little over $700.
Did you ever take any of these prostitutes home to have sex with them?
Criminologist Brian.
But notice that right after, you can see at that time that it's going off into another thing. But when it comes back, she talks about all of the guns and knives that she had.
Yeah.
And how it would scare people away from her home, but she wasn't willing to give them up.
Yeah, but
she was on disability.
Yeah, but look at the psychosis and all that. So
no doubt,
we look back at growing up. All right, this person growing up, of course, was a man growing up, or a boy, and the father beat him. He was molested,
yes.
Those types of things, and his father died before really he could come to terms with all that, or like early in his life. And his mom was taken away to an institution because she had schizophrenia. So this kid's on his own with, I guess with other family or something. But his piece was going out with a gun and shooting targets and all that. And he just started building up all this stuff because these guns were what he felt kept him safe from what was going on in the world. That was the psychology of that. That's why he had so many of them, the obsession with it. It was more of that's how I remember my life. So it's in that. So when you put that psychosis behind that weapon, and his use of weapon is the anger against these women that he felt were able to bear children.
Yeah.
And
they actually found a pipe bomb in his arsenal of things. He was not supposed to have weapons because the way that it was discussed was that he had a mental health problem that included bipolar disorder, severe depression, and manic episodes. Now, to me, that is not bipolar. That is borderline personality disorder.
That is several different psychoses right there.
Not a neurosis, but a psychosis.
No, she was several psychoses because of the gender disidentity, for one.
And then gender dysmorphia, and then of course that criminal behavior lifestyle, having run-ins with the law, firearms possession charges, transient lifestyle, just a lot of poor health choices. And
this thing was in Chicago too?
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to point out.
Wow.
But came out of Spokane, Washington.
Oh, okay, out of Spokane, but he was originally from Chicago.
What a lot of people don't know is he was in prison for because of the weapons charges.
Yeah.
And admitted to the person he was in prison with that he had killed up to bragged about killing 9 prostitutes.
Right.
But he was able to get out, and after he got out and got through whatever he had to get through, and he went to Thailand. That's where he had the gender change and all that. So
I'm glad you brought that up. I'd forgotten that I was going that direction, because there's a lot more people that he has.
But the thing is they think, did he feel the heat? You know, he admitted that. Did he do the sex change? Was that the plan?
Yeah.
Or
they
was he so jealous of the women that were able to bear children that he felt, well, I want to be a woman too? Goes back to the Ed Gein thing or whatever. We don't know. Was it trying to escape, or was it actually wanting to change gender for other reasons and all that? But if you had all those psychoses now, I don't know if they allow you to change gender after a psychological exam.
I don't
but
think
I guess in Thailand it doesn't matter. Show me the money.
You got money, they'll do it.
From disability.
Yeah. Yep. So
well, that would have to be from weapons that he sold, because they would arrest him and go in and get his guns and tell him no, and then it would be full within just a week or two.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the money for this?
Prostituted himself.
I was saying.
Yeah.
Prostituted himself for weapons.
Yep.
Okay. Then.
I don't know how that happened. I don't understand that. Don't ask me to go down that rabbit hole.
No.
Or any hole to do with a David. Not David Douglas.
That's one hole I don't ever want to see. Ever.
No.
Bless it. You can look at him and tell he never bonded with anyone at an early age. He was abused, so therefore he had so much anger. I think it's a condition called RAD. It's failure to identify and bond from an early age as a child, and it can present itself as a psychopath.
It is. They did tests with monkeys for that type of psychosis, where they would take the monkey away from the mom and all that, and have one monkey with the mom, and the difference of how the monkeys later on would react. That's kind of how they came across that study of nature, nurture, and that type of thing. So, which is a big thing. When you don't have parental guidance at a young age, and you don't have the parental guidance at a young age. Yeah.
Well, for those of you that are interested in that type of awful phenomenon in children, if you'd like to just go on YouTube and search for The Evil Child, Dr. Phil.
Yeah.
And there's a young girl that was maybe 6 years old, and she tried to kill her brother, and she was abusing the animals the family owned. She was her and her brother were adopted by a pastor and his wife, and she kept trying to put it this way. They had to tie her door shut at night because she would go into her brother's room and would jump on him and try to beat him up in his sleep, and was kick him and try to. She was sexually molesting him as well. Yeah. And wouldn't stop. He would say stop, but she wouldn't. She was so angry. Her mother died of kidney failure, and her father was sexually abusing her and not the brother because he was only 7 months old, but he had not been held. He had no stimulus. When the social services went in. The baby had been in the diaper several days, had a curdled bottle of milk at its feet,
Flat back
of the head,
Mhm.
and virtually no way of being able to communicate with people.
Oh my
And
God.
she was 18 months and obviously walking and stuff, but yeah, she was in bad shape and continued to be. But after 30 years, she's made a comeback and she's got a book out. She wrote it with her therapists and some people that have studied her, and now
Yeah.
she's writing her story.
Yeah.
So it's really intense, and she's a very beautiful lady, and she's done her best to make it up to her little brother. Of course, he's a grown man now, but she's just a baby. She didn't know.
Yeah.
She was taking pins and sticking them in the family pets,
And her brother.
and her brother,
And her
and she
brother.
wanted to kill her parents and wanted to kill the family pets because she said she had hurt so much. She wanted them to hurt
Yeah.
before she felt vulnerable to them. She was terrified.
Well, it's
And she
funny how
had
that mind does that.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that there's, I forget what his name is, 7 years old, out of India, is known as the youngest serial killer in the history of the world. So they had quite a few victims. You know, of
We'll
course
be
they
looking
were.
at that tomorrow.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
will.
So,
There's been a lot of very violent killings out of India
mhm.
because there's a stark change between life on the farm, where you're killing farm animals and doing butchering and things like that. And then you go to the city life. And if you are taken from one to the other and you've got any kind of mental problem, the adaptation of being a city person compared to being on the farm, it just doesn't translate and bad things happen.
Mhm. Yeah, this is good that we talk about all this because, like we said before, when we talk about these little things, especially for younger kids and all that, that's what we need to do as parents and look out for that. Look out for those signs. Get them the help. You
Yes.
know, don't neglect. It's just
Yeah.
a planning thing. I know it's not always planned, but please, you got issues. You know, don't be having kids. You
Oh,
know,
please don't.
No.
you know, it goes either way. You know, sometimes you could overparent too. So it's very hard.
Well, that's very true. But some people need to understand that discipline is not the only way to change a child's behavior.
Exactly.
Especially if you have a child that you don't know their background, back history. There's always a different story. So you need to dig a little deeper. And discipline does not necessarily mean to scold, to spank, and that kind of thing. It also means giving them strict guidelines and have structure.
Yes, structure.
The Dare to Discipline by Dr. Charles, was it Dobson? Dr. Dobson?
Yeah.
I know that's, not necessarily a type of source that I would bring out in this, but he explained very carefully how if you put it this way, my kids learned to add with Dr. Dobson. Okay, you told a story, that's 2 swats. You disobeyed, that's 2 swats. And then you did this. Now you've lied to me. How many swats is that? 6. All right, here we go. And I've got Mr. Spoon and we're getting swats. And that kind of structure in every way builds trust. The lack of trust is where the breakdown seems to be.
Yeah.
Clearly with Donna Donna Perry. Well, we've only got like 2-3 minutes left. You guys have anything else you want to discuss? You want to throw out there how to reach you, or if anybody has any new topics, please. Blaine, if you had, thank you. People are saying great show tonight. Great show.
Thank you guys. We enjoyed doing this.
We're supposed to be on Sunday with Sean.
Yes.
Who is?
We are.
All
of us.
Oh, okay. Sunday. I'm glad
Sorry,
you
I
told me.
didn't get to remind you because you were on vacation. Sorry.
No, I was on
somebody went to New Orleans without all of us.
I know.
Hey, y'all could have come. Nobody said you couldn't. So, that's on you.
Oh,
You know what week before I was going, you could have went to.
I know. I'm so glad you got to spend time with your family.
Oh, it was so great to see my daughter and granddaughter. And I just had a ball watching Penny, blossom like she is. And
she's such a beautiful girl.
Oh, she is just gorgeous. I'm scared for her first boyfriend, though. God.
I'm scared of you for her. I'm scared for her boyfriend, because Papa's gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
No, they have to worry about Penny more than they are me. Put it that way.
Oh, I gotcha.
She'd open
Who
up.
we doing next week, you guys?
Who's next?
Who's next?
Oh, let's see. We haven't done Jeffrey Dahmer. We haven't
That's
done.
true.
We haven't done Ted Bundy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We haven't done Eileen Wuornos. We could do a whole show on the LaLaurie house. The shit that happened in that place. Oh my God. She would be considered a serial killer because that woman, if you've never heard of her, she was a very well-to-do person. She originally came from the Bacardi family. If you've heard of Bacardi rum, her family owned all the sugar plantations that made Bacardi rum. She also married very well, too.
Sounds like that's who we're doing, right?
You want to do her? Look,
Let's do
Madame
it.
Laurie.
Madame Laurie.
In New Orleans, that is an interesting story. And I will warn you now, it will be very graphic because we're just going to tell you what kind of shit this evil woman did. Okay.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Madame Laurie it is in honor of your trip to New Orleans. And if anybody has any questions or you want to throw up throw a flag out to us and say, hey, don't forget to cover this about her or that. We are all ears. Okay. Well, thank you for watching.
Yes.
Serial Killers, Supernatural, and Murderers. We will see you next Monday.
Bye.